Today we start with the second part of transportation in humans. This is a part of your chapter 6 life process. In the previous session we studied about components of human circulatory system, blood and heart, and we also covered double circulation. In this session we'll try to cover about blood vessels, blood pressure and lymph. Blood vessels carry blood across our body. You know that our body makes many arrangements to make sure that oxygenated and deoxygenated blood do not mix with each other. So our body has two distinct blood vessel types, the arteries, which usually carry the oxygenated blood, and the veins, which usually carry the deoxygenated blood. This is the difference that you have been studying since junior classes, but here we'll see that this is not always the case. Finally, there are capillaries, or the smallest vessels. Now you can see this diagram from your book. The arteries bring blood from heart and divide into fine vessels known as capillaries. These capillaries help in exchange process, and once the process of exchange is done, the veins carry the blood back to heart. So these three vessels have their specific functions and their structure is designed to suit those functions. Now let's dive in then and find out more about each of these. Start with arteries. Now the first thing that you need to remember about arteries is they carry blood away from heart. They carry blood at high pressure. The pressure in arteries increases when the ventricles contract. To resist this pressure and to stabilize it, walls of arteries are thick and elastic, as you can see in the diagram also. Now, arteries generally carry oxygenated blood, but there are few exceptions to the rule. One of the exceptions that you have done is pulmonary artery. You recall the four chambers of heart? The lower chambers, the ventricles, pump out blood. Of these, one of the chambers pumps blood to the lungs. The artery which carries blood from heart to lungs is known as pulmonary artery, and since it is taking the blood for oxygenation only to the lungs, this artery carries deoxygenated blood. So pulmonary artery is one of the exceptions. It carries deoxygenated blood. In contrast, we have veins. Veins carry blood towards the heart. They do not carry blood at high pressure. They do not need thick elastic walls since the blood in the veins is at much lower pressure. And they have valves to prevent backflow. Veins do not need thick walls, but they do need valves. This is to prevent the backflow of blood. Generally, the veins carry deoxygenated blood. Again, there is an exception, the pulmonary vein, which brings oxygenated blood from lungs into the heart. When arteries reach an organ and have to deliver the material that they are transporting, they divide into thinner and thinner vessels known as arterioles. These thin vessels finally divide into much smaller vessels. These small vessels are so small that their walls are single cell thin. These single cell walls allow for easy exchange of materials from the cells. These single cell capillaries then join to form venules, which then forms veins. The veins then carry the blood back to the heart. Before proceeding further, a very relevant topic, blood pressure. Blood pressure is defined as the physical force exerted by the flowing blood on the walls of artery. It depends on three factors: pumping of heart, volume of blood flowing in the arteries, and the size of artery or blood vessel through which the blood is flowing. Now, why is blood pressure so relevant? In fact, why is it required at all? Heart has to make sure that blood reaches all organs. So it has to apply force. But the force should not be such so as to burst the artery. So a balance has to be maintained, a very delicate balance. Now there are very specific ranges within which blood pressure has to be maintained. The normal range that we study include two values, the systole and the diastole. The systolic blood pressure is the pressure of blood in arteries when the ventricles contract. The normal value is 120 millimeters of Hg. The diastolic blood pressure is the pressure of blood in arteries when the ventricles relax. The normal values are 80 mm of Hg. Now, what is high blood pressure? A condition you must have heard about very commonly. It is also known as hypertension. If for some reason the arterioles constrict, like something gets deposited there, the diameter of the arteries would decrease and the blood pressure increases. How? What do you do when you are watering a lawn and you want water to reach a longer distance from where you are standing? So what you do is you press your thumb at the mouth of the pipe to partially close it. What you are doing is you are decreasing the diameter of the pipe. Now when the diameter or the available space for the water to move out decreases, water moves out with a greater force. Now this is what happens in case of hypertension or high blood pressure. How do you get to know if the blood pressure is normal or different? You measure it with a sphygmomanometer. These are the three common types of sphygmomanometers that doctors use. Now here is a comparative account of arteries, veins and capillaries. You can note it down and try to study from here. Having studied about arteries, veins, capillaries and the heart, one must appreciate how perfectly blood flow is managed in our bodies. But no system is perfect till the time it takes care of accidents. For example, what happens when we are injured? There's a leak and the blood starts to flow out continuously. But does it? Have you suffered a cut? Did the blood come out? Yes, of course. But did it continue to flow out? No, it clots. How does this happen? But before that, why clotting is necessary? One reason is, of course, to prevent the loss of blood. Second reason is a leak in pipe reduces the pressure of flow in the pipe. Since the pressure is being released at the leak, so a leak in blood vessel will lower the blood pressure in vessels and the heart will have to work harder for maintaining the blood flow. So, clots are a way of fixing the leak. Who is the hero of this story? The platelets. Platelets are blood components that ensure that in case of any injury or cut, the clotting occurs and the damage is controlled. What if the leak is from inside the capillaries into the spaces between the tissues? Capillary walls have small pores through which plasma, some blood proteins and even some of the blood cells can leak out. This leaked out part of blood is known as lymph. Lymph is similar to blood but without RBCs. So color of lymph is not red but pale. It also has lesser number of blood proteins. Where does lymph go? Into the intercellular spaces. But our body does not allow it to go waste. There is another system of vessels running side by side of our blood vascular system. This is the lymphatic system. The lymphatic vessels take the lymph and circulate it across our body and finally deliver it back to the blood vascular system. Finally, what is the significance of lymph? One is, of course, it brings back the leaked out extra blood back into the circulatory system. But there are also some other important uses. It carries large proteins and fats which cannot enter the blood capillaries. The pores on lymphatic vessels are bigger. So these fats and large proteins are able to enter lymphatic vessels. But the most important function is lymphatic system is an important part of our immune system. They carry WBCs, and you know white blood cells are the key players of our body's defense. With this, we come to end of our session. Here are a few questions. Check your understanding, revisit the video if any doubts or leave comments. I'll get back. Till then, take care.